What was the most petty thing an adult did to you when you were younger? I have horrible handwriting. I have forever. No amount of intervention or practice has helped. When I was in 5th grade, my social studies teacher seemed to take a lot of pleasure in constantly reminding me of how awful my handwriting was. We used to have to bring out notebooks up for her to check our homework. I dreaded this so damn much. She would hold up my notebook so the whole class could laugh at my handwriting. I'm grown now. That was a long time ago. But I still hate to have handwrite anything that other people will see. I had a teacher who was obsessed with my handwriting too. I'm dyspraxic and until I was about 10 my handwriting looked like that of a 6-year-old. In that year of school we had to earn the right to graduate from writing in pencil to working with pen by improving our handwriting. She told me to write smaller, so I wrote smaller. She told me to write more even letters, so I wrote more evenly. It took too long, because it took real effort to do it, so I had to go faster, which made it untidy again. My finger joints also bent backwards, so it was a real struggle to hold a pencil. My mum got me some special pencil holders for hypermobile fingers to make it less painful, but she took them from me and threw them away. Now my writing was too small, so I wrote larger. Rinse and repeat. I was the last in my class to get a pen and only a week before the school year was up. And she made it clear that it was because I ran out of time, not because I deserved it. My handwriting actually improved a lot over the year, but I was disqualified because it took too much effort, apparently. So it was clear I wasn't practicing enough at home. Around this time I was incredibly depressed and stressed for unrelated reasons, and struggling to keep my temper, so in a very uncharacteristic move I asked what it was she wanted from me, because nothing I did was right. In front of the whole class. She replied nothing. Because I know wanting better from you would be a waste of time. She was like this the whole year at any opportunity she got. I need to wear dark glasses when looking at the whiteboard and the projector because it gave me migraines, and she tried repeatedly to take them off me until I suggested I bring a copy of the note from my optician that we have her to the headmaster. She refused to let me use left-handed scissors the school provided for each classroom, giving them instead to right-handed kids who just liked that they had different colored handles. To this day I'm not sure what it was I ever did to make her hate me so much. I was always polite, worked hard and got good grades, was a bit disorganized, and forgot my homework a few times, but that's hardly a reason to behave this way to a child. I broke 2 fingers on my dominant hand in 9th grade and had a splint on them, so I couldn't write. I had a test at school and the teacher made me write with my left hand, then marked my answers wrong because she couldn't read them. At 16 years old, I had a job at a gas station after school. Did all the grunt work, sweeping cigarettes in the parking lot, emptying trash bins, etc. Close bracket. I'm taking the trash out one day and a grown man in his 40s comes up to me and says something along the lines of, "I make more money in a week than you do in a whole year," and all I could think at the time was, well yeah, I sure hope you do. I'm in high school. Such a petty thing to say to a kid just trying to make a little bit of money after school. I got in trouble in 6th grade for reading during homeroom. Homeroom was like a random 30-minute period to work on homework, but I always did my homework the night before, so I would just quietly read. For some reason my homeroom teacher hated it. One day she just yelled at me for always reading in her class and told me to do my homework. I told her all of my homework was done. She told me to prove it, so I showed her all of my completed homework. Then she confiscated my book and sent me to the principal's office for being disrespectful. I'm still salty about it. I effing hate people who equate being proven wrong as disrespectful. What pisses me off the most about it is that it extends beyond the teacher's power trip to, by teaching their students that proving someone wrong is disrespectful, they also teach them that all disagreement is bad and must be stamped out. Then updated facts and also innocuous differences in opinion are seen as rude and shameful. For background purposes, my full legal first name is a B. Just a B. All 4 letters. Nothing more. My 6th grade social studies teacher one time kept calling out the name Abigail one day. That's not my name. So I don't respond and looking for this new mystery person. She gets up and comes to my desk and asks me, why aren't you answering me? You called out Abigail. Not a B. A B is short for Abigail. Go to the principal's office for being disrespectfully. Went to the principal's office. P. Why are you here? Me. Teacher called out for Abigail and I didn't respond. Why did you not respond? Me. My name is a B. Just a B pulls up my record and confirms that I'm not and never have been an Abigail and sends me back to class. My teacher never called on me again. This reminds me of when we had a substitute teacher in class. She said put your John Hancock here, meaning sign the attendance sheet. Well, there was an actual John Hancock in our class. She thought he was being smart and when he argued it was his name, sent him to the principal's office. I was at an Easter egg hunt when I was around 6. It was in a big park area with lots of rocks. I saw a little chocolate egg foil glisten and ran over to pick it up. As I reached my hand out to pick it up, a man trod on my hand to stop me getting it. Then he called his kid over to find it. I have a similar story. I was about 12 and at a Madrid grass parade and an adult stepped on my hand to prevent me from picking up some plastic beads on the ground. More indirectly to me, but when I was graduating high school, my aunt asked me which of my late grandfather's rings I'd like as a graduation gift, along with a card / a little cash. I told her I really appreciated the offer, but jewelry just isn't my thing, and that I felt like it would be wasted on me. I do have other items passed down from him. She said okay, no problem, and I thought that was that. Graduation came and went, and a couple weeks later a few family members are over for dinner. Well, I'm standing talking to another aunt, her sister, and she walks over to us and hands me a little box. At this point I know what it is, and even though I had respectfully declined before, I decide I'm going to open it and give a wow, great thank you. I open the rings box, and before I can get a word out, the aunt I had been there talking to absolutely loses it. Are you #xing kidding me? You give that ring to him? Yelling at her, yelling at me, making a huge scene. Guess that ring specifically was one she had made known she wanted. I looked to my aunt who gave me the ring and she just couldn't hide the little smile on her face. So the extreme pettiness was really between my two aunts. And I felt like I was basically set up / used as a tool in the whole situation. Would have felt bad for my other aunt, but TBH most of her anger was directed towards me. She did apologize days later. Should mention I had a few friends over as well witnessing this. Just super embarrassing for me, especially since I had zero interest in the ring. One of my uncles was in a years-long fight with my mom. To stir trouble, anytime he greeted my sister and I, he would tell my sister how beautiful and wonderful she is, and to me just say, oh, you're here too, and then promptly ignore me the rest of the night. I used to adore him up to that point, so this ended up in me being extremely hurt and crying to my mom for hours about how I'm ugly and not special. He got his petty vengeance on my mother and crushed my self-esteem. Till today I don't forgive him for it. PPL who involve children in grown-up feuds are just a-holes. My aunt was unpleasant or weird with everyone, but always particularly cold to me. One day when I was about 14, she took me aside and said she'd held a grudge against me because of my name. She had wanted to call her first daughter that name, but my parents had had a child first and used it. They had no idea she wanted the name and aren't the kind of people who would have done it on purpose. She said she'd tried really hard and had just about forgiven me for it. I just remember being baffled by it and then feeling sorry for her for being that spiteful, to be honest. But it pulled later in comparison with all the other crazy horrible things she did to her own family. Good thing she was only cold to you, but stayed away then. Her aunt was doing her a favor, keeping her niece away from the crazy. Had a teacher in kindergarten threaten to expel me because I was sick and didn't show up the day before. She put me on the spot in front of the whole class, telling me not to lie and that she'd call the principal. I cried in front of the whole class, not knowing what to do. Apparently she wanted to win some attendance award and thought confronting a child was a good idea. Like bruh, I was f***ing 5. Still salty on how she got away with it. Attendance awards seem kinda stupid. There's no way to predict when a student will suddenly have a personal or family issue that they need to skip school or just a class for. It seems incredibly stupid, especially for elementary school. I could see this maybe being a thing in high school where kids like to skip class, but no kid in kindergarten has the ability to choose if they are going to class or not on any given day.